invited or publicly commended by President, as he then was, President Muhammad Buhari, when he came to Edo State to commission some projects, including a hospital, a highway, and a university. And at the end of that, his visit, he said publicly, without informal chat with me, he said, "Comrade, I will need you in Abuja. APC will need you in Abuja." That brought me a lot of envy and also a lot of accolade, depending on which side you belong. And so I ended up as chairman of the All Progressive Congress, with President Buhari as the overall leader of our great party, which is waxing stronger and stronger and stronger, even as evidenced by the number of high-quality profile senators that join us today. I have very fond memories of his unyielding commitment and his belief that Nigeria must remain one. As a very young man doing trade union work in Kaduna, I do remember his memorable quote when he said, "Nigeria is the only country we have. We must all stay here and salvage it together." That was the time young men and women were voting with their feet and introduced this handle, "Don't check out of Nigeria." So Buhari believed in this country. He fought for the unity of this country. He presided over the unity of this country. And like has been said, he had a heart of gold. He hate to hurt, which is the point Senator Nigi had just mentioned. I can give 2, 3 examples. One was when, as chairman of APC, listening to what people were saying, I went to him and I said, "Mr. President, the service chiefs have overstayed. They need to be replaced, all of them." And he said to me, that was, I forgot who was the service chief now. They stayed for almost 4 years. Buratai and co. Sorry, I have to now reveal it publicly. I said they have overstayed, and I feel we need to re-inject new blood into the leadership of the armed forces. President Buhari said to me, "Chairman, I agree with you, but you see, next week is Easter holiday. It will not be nice, at least for their family, that the people who have given their all to the country, that we just all ceremonially remove them at the eve of Easter holiday." Easter is not a Muslim holiday. Buratai, I'm not sure he's a Muslim, and other service chiefs. But that is so much concern he felt that, yes, if people must go, let them have the benefit of having a good holiday. He didn't want to hurt them, even as Nigerians put him under pressure for change of service chiefs. And that confirmed the point about he being very reluctant. When he hired, he was always very reluctant to fire. The other, and I appreciate this rare privilege you've given me, so I will not abuse it in case of next time, was that as chairman of the APC, just to tell you how principled President Buhari can be, some governors went to him and they had complaints about me and whether they were valid or not valid. And they made all kinds of allegations. They didn't need to substantiate them. And they were in good numbers. President Buhari said to them, "These matters, those that have to do with party, Chief of Staff, then Abakari, please lead the governors to go and meet the chairman of the party. The chairman and the party will resolve party issues. The president of Nigeria does not get involved in internal party issues." And those governors came to my office. And because what they wanted to do with President Buhari in my absence, they couldn't do it. And in the end, one after the other, they confessed that they didn't really have valid allegations. And for the other allegations they made, President Buhari said, "If you are sure of your word, go and put them in writing, and I will deal with them officially." So as chairman of APC, I had a president who watched over me, stood by me, and defended me when it was necessary. I am happy that while he was alive, when he came to commission Edo State University, which I built as governor of Edo State, we named one of the biggest hall as Muhammadu Buhari Hall. I'm happy that we did that while he was alive to acknowledge his contribution to the development and his effort for a united Nigeria. When he passed away, we all had our plans, and we were shocked that Sunday to hear that Buhari was no more. There are no amount of tears that can explain how we feel. A lot of young people, like me at that time when he launched war against the discipline, President Buhari was able to demonstrate that if the leadership is firm, the followers will behave. And for many of us here, maybe younger senators may not know this. Those days of Nigeria Airway, where if you wear big babariga, you can jump the queue. Once you say war against the discipline, everybody will behave, which shows that rascality is not in our blood. We just need to have the fear that if you don't behave, you will be sanctioned. And he did not hesitate to sanction when it matters. But as a civilian president, he had always lamented that people wonder why he's not able to fight, particularly the war against corruption, the way he did when he was in the military. He said he just found that in a democratic environment, even if you catch a man with a stolen car, you cannot call him a thief. You can only call him a suspect. And then you have to charge him to court. And then you become just a witness. And in the end, you might get nothing out of it. So I think we've lost a truly, truly statesman, one that fought for Nigeria in his younger years, one that governed Nigeria in his younger years.
Let me agree with you. Let me agree with you over the things you have said, and over the things you have not said, and over the things you will say tomorrow. Because if we allow you, you had a personal relationship, you were even his chairman. I just wanted at least a few people to be able to say one or two things. So just 10 seconds, then you stop.
My greatest honor, sir, was when President Buhari sent for me and asked me to fly official aircraft to Turkey to represent him before the president of Turkey. So once upon a time, I went to Turkey as if I was president of Nigeria. I mean, coming from my background, coming from that little village that I come from, President Buhari gave me a rare privilege, to exhibit whatever it is he thought I was capable of doing. May God in his infinite mercy forgive him any sin he might have committed as a human being and grant him a spacious space in paradise. Amen.
Senator Mangunu.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, not a Christian, because Senator Oshiomole, in the course of his discussion, doubted whether he's a Muslim or a Christian. So, having known him to be a Muslim, I want to tell the Senate that he's a Muslim, not a Christian. Having said that, Mr. President, distinguished senators, with regard to my contribution on this subject matter, General Buhari, the late former president, was not corrupt and remained incorruptible throughout his lifetime. Mr. President, I have one encounter with the late president, which clearly showed to me that he was not corrupt. As Chief Whip of the House of Representatives then, we were invited for a dinner to the villa with the late president. After the dinner, the Kanuris and the Fulanis, we used to joke amongst ourselves. I now told him, as a joke, jokingly, so that it should not be misinterpreted, that, Mr. President, usually when we come to the villa and take dinner, we don't go back empty-handed. We leave with brown envelopes. His response to me was, the beauty of this place, that is the villa, is that you also ate pre-put. I also ate pre-put. You go, I'm not going to give you any envelope because I would not like to go to Kirikiri again. So this is a clear manifestation of the fact that the late president is not corrupt and remain incorruptible throughout his lifetime. And for the press, please, I'm not saying that when we are invited to dinner, we are giving brown envelopes. I said so that the Kanuris and the Fulanis, we used to joke at each other. That's why I told Mr. President that the late president, that we used to go out with envelopes, because I know he is not corrupt and he will never agree to that, so that it should not be misinterpreted in any way. Thank you.
You can be around by let me say